Hello, everyone. This is W. Frederick, host of the High Art on the Edge page, where artists' work is celebrated around the world. Did you know I'm also an online event planner who really enjoys helping artists gain more recognition based on the work they do? Their work is honored with a special online event for fans, friends, and family members that can be quite educational and entertaining. The event can take place on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to reach a wide audience. So, what are you waiting for? Let's shine a spotlight on your work and celebrate together in epic fashion. The Blue Herons have created some of the most dazzling jingle pop over the past few years. Talented and creative artists Gretchen DeVault and Jossi have once again joined forces to create a beautiful new song called Echoes in the Dust. It is purely magical because of its sonorous and dreamy instrumentation and vocal melodies. Simply said, the song shimmers. In my discussion with them, we talk about the history of the Blue Herons, songwriting, their new single, amazing artwork for the album cover, and we wrap it up with some vinyl picks. So, grab a refreshing summer drink and learn more about this dynamic duo that knows how to create music that elevates the spirit. Man, they make it sound so easy, which we know it is not. Echoes in the Dust, the Blue Herons brand new single. Hello, everyone. This is W, aka William, host of the High Art on the Edge page, public event page. It's where I get to discuss with artists their craft, whatever they have come up with in terms of singles, paintings, photographs, albums, what have you. Today we have special guests. Round two of my conversation with the Blue Herons, Jossi, Gretchen DeVault. Let's welcome them into our event. How are you two doing?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Oh my goodness, my pleasure. Andy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Last time you and I spoke was for the release of the Churchill Garden album.
Yeah.
So that was a couple months ago. And how have your summers been? Let's start with Gretchen.
Mine has been quite busy. We moved across the country, so just getting settled back in.
And do you mind telling the viewers where you moved from and where you are now?
Yep, we moved from LA back to Michigan, so we're going to be back in the Midwest.
And so, how has that experience been thus far?
It's been good so far. It's been, summer moving into fall. Ask me in the winter, and that may be a whole different story after 8 years of Southern California.
Where the weather never changes.
Yeah.
And so the transition has been smooth.
Very, actually. Yeah.
You got a beautiful, is that a family room, living room area?
This is going to be this is my office area and listening room. So record player is right back there. And so, yeah, it's a really nice little space.
It looks wonderful. Andy, what have you been up to this summer?
A lot of hiking, hiking in the mountains with Alps. It was quite hot a longer period, and but also quite a lot of rain. So it was nice, but it's for me it's a little bit too hot.
Do you want to tell the viewers where you are located?
Where I live?
Yeah, we don't need your address.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Lucerne, so in the center of Switzerland, right where the Alps starts. It's a very, very beautiful place.
What does I don't think I've ever discussed this with you, and we will get to your single, don't you worry, but I do want to know, what does hiking do for you? And how long have you been a hiker for?
well, I was a hiker with my parents, and of course, I hated that time. But nowadays, I usually go alone. So hiking alone in the mountains, um, you're walking like for 6 hours, and you're all alone for 6 hours if you're lucky. That's just beautiful. There's nothing. There's just mountains, some animals. Um,
Yeah.
just lovely. It's good to bring fresh air through your head. It's good to have good thoughts. Forget about shit things.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I really, really love it. It's very inspiring.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a hard question. If you don't want to answer it, that's fine. What does making music and hiking have in common?
Uh, well, it's more that it's inspiring for making music. If you are in the mountains and you have this beautiful scenery, that's so inspiring, for melodies, and just for beautiful thoughts.
Yeah.
So I think that's so it's more like it's connected. I think I would not have so many ideas if I wouldn't go out and just be alone in the nature. So I think that's the connection between.
In terms for you, Gretchen, and it could be LA or where you're at now, do you find inspiration being out in nature?
I do actually, yeah, especially walking and just yeah. Um, the new place that we have too, it's like out in our backyard is like just listening to the sound of the leaves blowing in the trees, which oddly enough I didn't notice much in Southern California. It was pretty still, it felt like a lot. So it's just really nice in the summer. It's just been nice to be out and listen to the birds. And so I do find that inspiring, just having that space.
Right. And with this, I don't want you guys haven't, I mean, have you reunited? I don't know if we would call it that, but maybe just getting back together. I'm not sure. Let's talk about the Blue Herons. Just Andy, if you wouldn't mind giving the viewers a quick summary, kind of how this came about, and then we're going to talk about this brand new song.
You mean about like a little bit of the history of the Blue Herons?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So in the beginning, I did so many songs with the Churchill Garden. If you go on my SoundCloud, I don't know if it's 60 or 70 songs on it, and it's from new wave to shoegaze to twee jungle pop, and I just noticed it's too, I don't know the word for that, too many styles in it. And when I found Chrissy, it was really time to focus a little bit more into shoegaze dream pop. So I think it's a good time to separate the jangly stuff, jangly pop stuff from the dream pop shoegaze stuff. Even I still mix it a little bit. So I think someone lately wrote something like jangle gaze or something like that. From the endings of the song, basically. And then I was looking for a voice for quite a long time, and didn't find someone I thought it would fit, or and someone who would like to do it. That's another thing. And then I was lucky and find Gretchen, and then now we are together in the group, so it's perfect now.
Gretchen, how did he find you?
Facebook, right? I don't remember what song, like how you heard any of my other music, but that's, yeah, that was really how that worked out. And it was COVID too. So everybody was sort of hunkered down. And because I'd been recording remotely with Voluptuous Panic for a number of years pre COVID, um, it was a very natural fit to be able to record remotely. I was already used to that. So when Andy reached out and I heard his stuff, it was absolutely beautiful. And I was super excited to get to work on this. So, yeah.
So can you recall that moment he reached out to you and bring us back into those emotions?
Well, like, I mean, it's a little, you get a random Facebook message, you feel a little weird, but actually Chrissy reached out too and was like, he's a legit guy, like awesome, like talented musician. And so, but like the music was so phenomenal. It was like the melodies just like came out as soon as I heard the song. So it was like really kind of fast because I think Andy reached out and you shared like a Dropbox folder of songs and we had one out within like a month or something. It was insane like how perfectly like it worked out. So and then we just started cranking out more and more songs. So yeah, it was really lovely.
How many singles have you released? Is it 6?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Because some of them are like there's the Joy Division one that's not like there's a
Right.
couple that aren't on like Spotify, but
Right.
so you have to go back
Um,
to Bandcamp to see.
Well,
so
it
I
might be 6 or 7.
okay. So when I first heard your music, and I told you this in our last interview, it was the song "Take Them Back." And Gretchen, I don't know if you remember this. I messaged you. I think I did, and I said, "Shoot, this song is so it feels it's just what jangle pop does, dream pop, whatever you want to call it. It does precisely that. It gets inside that skin. It elevates the spirit. It makes you feel so damn alive. And I want to start getting into that mindset with creating that music. So Andy, quickly tell us the process of creating some, as Gretchen said, these amazing melodies.
Well, it's like with the church organ. I don't think. I just do.
You
Um,
just do.
yeah, the problem was in the beginning, I was not able to play jangle pop. I would like to play these things years ago, but I was technically not able to play that because this arpeggio things is just a little bit more complicated than having a lot of reverb on it, and you don't really hear what I play. Um, but then I just play around, and when there is something that sounds nice, I I follow this path. But I don't think when I do music. As soon
So
as I start thinking that it's not good, then it comes from the head and not just from the heart and soul.
do you wake up late at night coming up with these melodies in your head? Are you a 2 a.m. kind of person, or it doesn't matter, just that whenever they arrive?
I often hear music when I take a shower, because when
Okay.
you listen to music and you
Yes.
have a shower, you hear
Yes.
something different. It
Yes.
it is it's not that what I play, what the record player is playing. I hear other melodies, and then I have my phone and start singing like da 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 da, and then I have like just a main idea to follow. But I often, well, sing is not the right word. I just do a melody here on the recorder, and then I try to record something and look if it works. And if it works, I will send it to Gretchen.
Okay. So can you guys see this shirt I'm wearing? This is the Bats. They're the band from New Zealand, legendary band. They've been around for a long time. And they do something that, I mean, if I were a musician, I would aspire to do. And you do this, Andy. And it's that ability to create the hook, it's the ability to create the melody. But not only that, I was listening to this song just an hour ago, Echoes in the Dust. The way you build and layer these songs with subtle touches and sometimes big bombastic touches. But in this song, which we're going to listen to, there are some amazing attention to details. So I'm going to ask you, Andy, where did you get this skill to be so attentive to detail? Was that something passed down from a teacher, a parent, a grandparent?
Oh, no, I think that that's something I always had since a child. And also my profession as a picture editor, I have to care about details. I mean, and I love that. And as a child, I was not a good painter, but I like to make pictures with just little black strokes. Strokes, is that the right word? And just like thousands of little strokes, and then a picture starts to grow. Um, so I just like these things. Maybe it's my HDS it's in my head, and I just can sit down and do little things for hours. And in the music, it's the same. I think why there are so many details in the song is that I came from the idea making music as an instrumental. You know, in the beginning, I make music as an instrumental, one person, and then I often was just scared that it's so boring. So every part I change things, and I continue that. If you listen it, you will notice there is no part exactly repeating itself. There is always something else. And I
Absolutely. But, and I will say, and Gretchen, would you agree or you disagree? But would you agree that these changes and not being the similar, it's just for the Blue Herons music, Go On, Endless Rain, Take Them Back. There's such a shine to it. There's such a sparkle to it. So when you're working with Andy and you know you've got him that you're working with, what does that do for you as an artist?
I mean, I know that whatever the song, like even if what I'm getting at the beginning, it's always pretty polished. Even like the instrumental part is always pretty polished, even though Andy might not think it's that polished. It's really good. And so it's very inspiring to just hear that and to get lost in that while you're coming up with like the vocal melodies and lyrics. And so, and then I know that even once the vocals go back to Andy, I know it's gonna turn into something even like bigger and cooler. And
Yes.
I am not a attention to details person. I'm like high level. And so I love what Andy does because it's not my skill set to like get into the weeds of it. And so
Mhm.
I always am amazed at what he comes up with. And like like I said, I'll hear it and be like, this is polished, this is all ready to go. And then I'll do vocals and come up with stuff, and then it comes back and it's like, this is even more magical. How is this possible?
So my girlfriend and I were listening to Mitski, the artist, and we were also listening to Echoes in the Dust. And I turned it up and I said, just listen to that. And there's that element of surprise, and we'll listen to this in the song. There's the element of surprise that I really gravitate towards in music when I didn't see that little turn coming. And so, with your vocal melodies, and now that you've been working together for a while, how have you grown, Gretchen, as a vocalist for the Blue Herons?
Actually, this has been like pretty transformative. Just like what I've done with Blue Herons has impacted all the music that I've done because or that I've like moved towards, because before my writing was always or a lot of times, I shouldn't say always, a lot of times it would be like I would write a guitar, like guitar part or just rhythm. So I really just play rhythm guitar to write a song. And so when you're doing that and you're working on a vocal melody, there is an impact in playing the guitar while you're singing. You're just like, I'm limited to what my guitar skill set is and what, I don't know. But when I started working on Blue Heron stuff, I could like sing things that I just different melodies that I could just be free to hear the music and get lost in it, versus like when you're playing it, it's hard to get lost in it because you're also, part of you is just like you've got two things going in your brain at the same time. And it's just like I can go into the vocal booth and it's like almost like a meditative experience. It's really lovely. I love to just go in there and I can just sing and I'm by myself and I can like explore, but I get lost in the music. And I think Chrissy's talked about that too.
Yeah. Yes. A tremendous, must be a tremendous collaborative experience. Okay, so with Echoes in the Dust, we've had some time since your last single. So Andy, when did you plant the seed for this song?
Oh, I can't remember. I think I sent the idea quite a while back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I sent out a few ideas, and I think that was just one that Gretchen liked and made the vocals for it. But that was long ago. The only thing that is really new is that it's that Melancholia version, because I just listened to Gretchen's vocals separately and just think, oh, it sounds so emotionally and sad. I have to do something with that. And I reach out to her and say, well, I would like to do it. I think I wrote an acoustic version, isn't it? I change it a little bit, but there is a lot of acoustic guitar in it and a lot of things I can't play. So I use long time and try because I can't finger picking actually. But I just play like short parts. But that's the only really new on it. The idea is quite old.
Okay. So from start to finish, I know what you just said and I understand that, but from start to finish, how long did this song take to create?
Well, the actual skeleton of the song, when I have an idea, then I'm always very fast. So it could be that it's like a Saturday and I have the skeleton. Then I send it to Gretchen and she made the vocals, and then I think it lies in the folder for quite a while.
Okay.
And I just picked that to work on as the next song, and then I worked quite a while on it to mix it, combine vocals with the music. And one thing I always don't like to do, but I have to do, remove a lot of stuff, make space for Gretchen's voice. Because in the initial mix I sent to her, mostly there are more things in it than in the final mix.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because in the song there's a lot of space in between verses, and after the bridge, if you want to call it, the middle eight, there's a lot of space, a lot of instrumentation where you would expect as a listener be like, okay, that's when Gretchen's coming in. Oh wait, she's not here yet. Okay, now she's coming back in. So I love that. I love how you let the music breathe like good wine, right? And I want to get into this song now. Okay, so Echoes in the Dust. with you, Gretchen, how did you try to push yourself as a vocalist for this particular song?
Um, you know
Were
what? I
you
don't think too much about it. I just feel it on this. And this one, just all kind of, it all came together and it had a lot of meaning for me. And so it just, it, I don't know, I just was open, I guess. That's the best way to describe
with in terms of writing the lyrics?
both the lyrics and singing
Okay.
it. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. And I can't remember if we discussed this, but do lyrics, writing lyrics, do they come to you naturally, or do you need to go on a long hike to find that inspiration?
Both. It can be, it depends on the song. Sometimes they just show up. Like
Yeah.
by being open. It's sort of like what Andy was saying, where you don't think about it. You can't think about it. You just, it's like being this open vessel almost, like just, and then it just, sometimes it just arrives, parts of it. Like, and obviously you have to, it's not like everything just comes and it's perfect and stuff, but like being open. Um, I've always tried to, in songwriting, not like be open, knowing that later on I can edit, because otherwise if you start editing in your head, it'll
Yeah.
it'll ruin it. And so just trying to be open, I think. So on that one, I was just open emotionally and even with the singing.
Yeah. Well, so can we hear the song?
Yep. All right.
Okay, everyone. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to Echoes in the Dust. Feel free to drop a comment on how the song is evoking any kind of emotional response. And Gretchen, which version are you going to play here?
I'm going to play the Melancholia version.
Okay.
Now, when I present them, is it showing the,
No, it's not showing on my end.
not yet. Hold on here. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to show it on my end. I need to click on this button and it should work.
Okay.
Okay, so hit play.
When the day gets dark
So I don't know if you saw my last comment there. Andy, do you know John Hughes?
Yeah.
I think he would totally embrace that sound. Okay, so we got the melancholy version there. What came first?
The Jangle Pop version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With hearing this song, I want to ask you, Gretchen, as I also put there, the melodies, the vocal melodies, they really soar, shine, and speak to the heart. I think the last time we spoke, you were going to embark on some writing sessions or vocal sessions, something like that.
I did.
Did that play a role into creating the vocal melodies for this song at all? Like, did you take what you learned and applied it for this?
In a very roundabout way. What I really learned in the end is that none of the, like, that's all thinking. And if you
Okay.
do the thinking too much, I mean, some people are really good at that, but in the end, it's about making the music that you feel, because then none of the rest of it matters. And this, I mean, the way that Andy did this is absolutely brilliant. And it would actually, because that was like all music licensing, was that the workshop thing that I had done. And this actually, Andy did not do this to make it work well for licensing, but it does speak to like that. It feels like a soundtrack, but that's not why we did it. It's just, if you write good music that makes you feel, it's going to just naturally be like that. So for me, the big learning was to let all of that go and just not even try. Just make music that makes us feel, and whatever else happens.
And, and then for you, Andy, we have to talk about the album art cover, the single cover. You've been quite well known for these amazing, incredible, vibrant artwork pieces. So, do you want to talk a little bit about Echoes in the Dust? Who is that woman? What's going on there?
Well, that woman doesn't exist because this is artificial intelligence. The whole cover is made with with K. Is it also K? No, you say AI. With
AI.
AI, so it's Mid Journey and a lot of Photoshop.
Wow.
So especially for the Melancholia version, it's the same picture.
Yeah.
I work on it in Photoshop, but also all of these cats are artificial intelligent.
Did you like that experience?
Yes, I like it. The thing is, I have to learn to use these things because of my job, because this is eating my job. So I have to be good in that too. So I will use it as much as possible in the moment. Um, you still need to have a good idea.
Right.
And there are also in the covers, there are always details in it. If you watch the wallpaper, then you see there are herons. So this is also like a Photoshop. I was searching for old pictures, old drawings from herons, and put them as a wallpaper. So there are always little things in it. Or when you listen to the lyrics, and if you take it very, how you say, very literally,
Yeah.
The clock shows 5 to 12.
Oh, come on.
There are always little things also in the cover. If you watch careful, you will find things.
Gretchen, I mean, and I know Chrissy knows this too, and anyone that works with Andy, again, it's just that creative mind.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think that the thing too is that, so Andy says he used AI, but he has so much skill. It's not like he just went, hey,
Right.
do this. there's so much more to it. You really need to know what you're doing, and like all of Andy's skills and all of the details that he puts into that are beyond that. Like just so that it's clear, like wasn't like he was like, "Hey, just make this happen." But he
Right.
knows all the things, and he's so like he has this brilliant mind to figure out like all the details and to add all the details in, and yeah, it's really amazing.
God, what a breath of fresh air. I mean, just that inspirational air to breathe in while working with somebody. It's a game-changing experience, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else before we come to the close the curtains on this conversation with the little vinyl picks? Is there anything else coming down the line for the Blue Herons? Anything else you want to share about the song? Either of you, go for it.
Well, the funny thing is, we wrote before the show, what are the actual plans for us? Because there are no plans. It's just like, okay, we do more songs, try to make that we both love them and are proud of them. And I think it's the most important thing. Of course, I would like to do a vinyl record, but I just have the experience. It's so expensive. If you do it the way I do, with all these little things with the extra lacquer, and it's so expensive, and I have to sell quite a lot more to get a little bit money back. So I think we go to in the direction, work on a new song, make it that we love it, and I think that we both are happy, and there is no pressure at all.
Yeah.
Then you also don't have to think. Just follow the heart. Do whatever we would like to do. I think
I
it
love
will.
it. I love that mindset. Gretchen, do you want to share anything?
No, that same as what Andy was saying. I mean, we're just going to put more music into the universe. Sure, an album would be fun. It's hard with like, I mean, the cost and time of vinyl is a lot.
I don't know. Everyone has their opinion of Kickstarter, these campaign online programs where you can raise money. Have you ever thought about doing something like that?
I've done that we did that with the icicles, and we were able to, it wasn't for vinyl, but I've done it. It's still a lot of work, and it still doesn't
Yeah,
always get you where you need to be. I think it's just
right.
part of like the indie music world.
Yeah,
It's just the
right.
reality of like, I don't know very many bands that are able to do it, like do this as their living. And so
Yeah.
you do this for your like the love of making music and putting it out into the universe. And so that a lot of times it's just like the realities of how much you have to put into it.
Well,
So,
and I think, forgive me, Chrissy, if I'm misquoting you, and I'm not quoting you. I'm going to paraphrase here, but I think Chrissy has mentioned the struggle in the heart of, I want to do an album, but I also know singles are a way to go right now, just releasing a little bit here and a little bit there. Does that
yeah.
sound right?
Yeah, no, that's totally right. And
Okay.
yeah, it's hard. You're just trying to figure out the best way to get music out into the universe. Honestly, I feel like that's the struggle of all indie musicians is you work so hard on creating the music, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot that leads up to an album that it just takes a lot.
Yeah,
So
the shipping costs. That's the biggest problem. People uh, don't blame me when I have like $24 for a record, when I need $24 for a record. But then when I send it to the States, it's actually almost $30.
Oh my
Then it's
God.
$54. And that's just a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think shipping costs is the biggest problem at the moment.
Yeah.
as we don't have a record label, the records are in one place and you have to ship it around the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Heather says hello to everyone. Hello, Heather. Dan says, nice to see everyone. Gunnar says, but we all love the albums. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gunnar also did put out one of our singles, so that is super cool. So we are on vinyl.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up with some vinyl picks. So for those of you watching, this is how it works. Andy and Gretchen are about to share some vinyl picks that they recommend, vinyl picks that have inspired them along the way, these albums. I'm going to quickly do mine, and then we'll let you two go. I'm just going to do one here. This is a band that I've been listening to over a very, very, very long time. They're called James. And this album came out in 2021. It's All the Colors of You. And to be very honest with you, the last 2 or 3 James albums have been definitely some high moments, but some moments I'm like, okay, it's a little forgettable. But when this sucker was released, I felt like they had kind of gone back to that James inspirational sound that I've come to know and love for so many years. And there is a track on here. It's called Wherever It Takes Us. If you're familiar with James, they have these big anthemic songs like Sit Down, blah, blah, blah. This is right up there with that one. So if you're one of the lucky people that get to see them perform that song, good for you. But yeah, this is the album I'd recommend, All the Colors of You by James, 2021. Okay. Who wants to go first?
Ladies?
All right. By the way, I got to see James play at the Greek in LA. I think it was pre-COVID, but it was a great show. So good. All right. So my vinyl picks. You see this. This is Holiday.
Okay.
So this is a very obscure band, but they're fantastic. I'm like pulling from the archives here. I don't even know, maybe late 90s, mid 90s. Really beautiful indie pop. This is the other side, soft back.
Where are they from?
Well, I thought they were like Harvard students at the time. They don't play at all anymore, but if you have a chance, check them out. Look up Holiday. It's so lovely and has always been. They've been a band that I have always loved and just continued. Like every time I listen to it, I'm like, lovely.
Never heard about it.
I know they played when I went to Grand Valley. They played at a coffee shop, and I was so glad that I got to see them because I still, to this day, love them and am influenced by them.
So Gretchen, while Andy's talking about his vinyl picks, can you write these titles in?
Yes, in the chat.
Yeah, you don't have to do that now when Andy's talking.
Okay.
Great.
You want our next one, or you want to go back and forth?
No, we'll just stick with you.
Okay. So I'm gonna going back to the Wayback Machine again. Is the Saltines. Also super poppy. Like this is like the essence of pop from back in the day. And this particular 7-inch has also a Guided by Voices cover, which is super cool. Nice. So, but they were on the Icicles were on Micro Indie Records. Mike Babb, who is a friend of mine, ran that amazing record label, also Drive-In Records, Micro Indie. And he put out the Saltines. So we played with them a lot back in the day. And nice. They still such good, catchy pop songs.
I love that album cover.
Yes. And this is actually Jeremy Wheeler, an amazing artist, did this.
Nice. Very nice.
And then, speaking of beautiful, beautiful artwork.
Oh, look at that.
The Churchill Garden.
Wait, are you talking about
So beautiful. I swear I show everybody that comes to my house. This is gorgeous. So you can see why, like Andy can't do, he's not gonna do like a half-assed record. It's gonna be all the things. It's amazing. So that, but not only is it beautiful looking, it's a beautiful sounding album too. Like,
Thank you very much.
It really is. It really is. And I probably have bored Andy and Chrissy to death with my comments. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Any others?
those were my three. Those are my top three right now.
Okay, so we're gonna slide right over to Andy. Your turn. You're up.
So I picked records that mostly inspired me as a guitar player, and mostly about Rickenbacker sound. Well, actually, first band, I don't know if they use Rickenbacker, but for sure 12 string. So this is the Razor Cuts. It's from
Don't know.
1989, from Creation Records.
Wow. Okay.
That's
So are we getting like House of Love kind
jungle pop.
of? Okay. Okay.
Really, with a lot of 12 string guitar on it. I wish I could play this kind of pop sound. It's so beautiful. Then the Railroad Children, 1988. I love this band.
Yes.
Just too good. And then
Did you ever see them perform live?
no, unfortunately not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish.
No.
And I wish that they would still play, because the following record, well, it was so good. Oh,
So Andy, I don't know if you're aware of this, and Gretchen, the Railway Children released an acoustic album.
yeah,
It's beautiful, I think.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Then, I was not sure. You say three, but I'll have to make four because for sure, where's
Woo!
Church, Starfish, and I have the signature of Marty here. Love it.
Wait, Marty Wilson Piper, got it.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, guess what I just picked up 2 days ago?
Lovely.
The brand new one. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Okay, go on.
And the last one.
Oh.
Because it's like Peter Buck, what he plays with the Rickenbacker is so beautiful. Everything sounds so simple, basically, but so well played on that. I love it. So I think it's a little bit equal, even it's very different, but it's a band where I was so inspired from Peter Buck and Marty Wilson Piper from the Church.
Gretchen, did you get into REM?
A little bit, not maybe like super in depth, but.
And how about the Church?
I loved the Church.
Yeah.
Just they were probably, even before I got into indie music, that was probably my like entree in. Just the guitar, it was always just like so dreamy and beautiful and unlike anything else that was out there.
It's amazing. Like, so two friends of mine, and me included, we're going to do a Church retrospective. And part one is going to go from the very beginning all the way to 1995. And then we're going to let that one breathe. And then part two will be 96 all the way to the Hypnagoge album. And if you've ever seen them live, it's top tier band, right? Top tier. Thank you for sharing your list there. I'm sure we could talk extensively about those inspirations. Dan says, I love the Railway Children. and have this LP. I think Gary Newby still plays in Japan a lot. He also says it appears Andy has all the same albums I have. I think Peter Koppes was the true secret weapon of the church.
Oh, there's actually a relation between the church and the Blue Herons. As when you go through all songs you see, it's just a small title under the song. He play guitar on one of the Blue Herons track.
Which one?
The way you look at me. But I just write it down small.
Marty Wilson Piper.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice.
Little
yeah. Oh man. Oh, Gunnar says we need a record list. Absolutely. Gunnar, that's coming.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to post, so.
Okay. We can go back and just, it's not a problem.
Okay.
Gretchen, Andy, the Blue Herons, thank you so much for our second conversation. And I look forward to having more in the future. Beautiful song, Echoes in the Dust. You can find it Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple. It's all there, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is W, aka William, host of the High Art on the Edge page. And always a pleasure speaking with these two creative and very imaginative artists. Thank you, too.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
You
Ciao.
too. Bye-bye.